Are you struggling to get your kick drum and your bass to sound great together? Do your mixes sound completely different when you take them from your home studio out into the real world? Well, I'm going to share with you the low-end mixing trick that I recently learned from pro mixing engineer Jaquire King, and it has made all the difference in my mixes. And we're going to get started right now. Hey everybody, my name is Jeff and welcome to Ignite Music Project. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn how to write, record, mix, and release amazing sounding music all from your home or bedroom studio, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I drop a new video. Today, it's all about the low end, baby. We are going to talk about making your low end sound great no matter where you listen to your music. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The low end is one of the most difficult things to get right when you are making music and mixing in your home or bedroom studio. The reality is our rooms or the places that we are mixing are not made for mixing music. They are not balanced, they are not treated, and what we hear when we're mixing can sound completely different from when we pull it out into the real world. And the low end is one of the biggest culprits of this. But I recently heard this trick from mix engineer Jaquire King. He's worked with bands like Kings of Leon, Modest Mouse, James Bay, Norah Jones, Buddy Guy, the who's who in the music industry. He is incredible. And he shared this trick. And once I implemented it into my mixes, it made all the difference. You're going to need a plugin that has a VU meter, one like you see here. It can be any plugin. Jaquire showed this trick using the VU meter on his tape saturation plugin. But it can be any VU meter. You just need something that will show you average or RMS volume. This is something that's really helpful when we are mixing and making music in the digital world, because most of the programs out there will display peak volume on the individual meters. And the other thing I want to point out to you before we get started in talking about some of these numbers is 0 dB on the VU meter is not the same as 0 dB on your master or channel faders. 0 dB on the VU meter is actually negative 18 dB on your meters in your DAW. And so as I'm going over these numbers, don't think, whoa, are you wanting to clip? Are you wanting to do all these things? No. The numbers I'm going to share and that Jaquire talks about are only applicable when using a VU meter. So let's get started. Jaquire always starts with his kick and bass elements. They could be electronic sounds, synths, or they could be real kick and bass. But he starts with those elements and gets the balance between those instruments right, and then builds the whole rest of the mix around those elements. And what this will allow him to do is make sure that his kick and his bass are working well together. They are balanced. And he is confident when he takes the mix other places that those elements are going to sound great. They're going to be balanced. So let's get started with our bass drum. The first thing he says to do is to make sure that the kick or the bass drum elements, the faders are set to 0. Start at unity gain. I actually have two kick drum channels here, a kick in and a kick out microphone, and I've blended them together. So I'm going to play those two elements for you here. And our goal here is to make sure that when the kick drum is hitting, it is reaching negative 3 dB on our VU meter. So let's see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not at negative 3 dB. I'm actually quite a bit quieter. So what I'm going to do is put a gain or a trim plugin before the VU meter on my master fader, and I'm going to actually just up the gain, up the input gains until it reaches negative 3 dB on the VU meter. Now, don't worry, I'm going to turn it back down later. This is just to help make it easier when we're going to bring in the bass guitar. Now, negative 3 dB, that number doesn't really matter. It can be any number really, but it's all about relative volume. And if we set it to negative 3 dB, that helps us when we bring in the bass guitar. So here we go. Let's bring up the volume until we get there. Okay, we are right around negative 3 dB, and now it's time to bring in the bass element. Now, the goal here is that when the bass and the kick drum are playing at the same time, we want the VU meter to hover right around 0 dB. Now, why 0 dB, you might ask? Well, Jaquire gave a great explanation. If you were to take that kick drum in your mix and duplicate it, or make a copy of that kick drum, if they were to play at the same time, the volume would be increased by 3 dB. So then we can take that same principle and apply it to the bass guitar. When the VU meter reads 0 in this case, we will know that we've essentially doubled the volume of the bass drum individually. This will let us know and give us confidence to know that our kick and our bass are equal in volume. They are balanced. And as we build the rest of the mix around those elements, everything will fit better together and it will sound better when we take it out into the real world. So let's go ahead and slowly bring up the volume of the bass guitar and watch until we get it hovering right around 0 dB. Now you'll notice that when the bass guitar is playing by itself, it's not at 0 dB, but when the kick drum and the bass are playing together, we are getting right around 0 dB. We're just kissing 0 dB. It doesn't have to be exact, again, because this VU meter is showing us average volume, but it just gives us a good indicator of where that volume needs to be in order to get it balanced. And once we've done that, once we have the bass and the kick drum working well together and in the right spot, we can turn off the gain plugin and bring everything back down to where it was. And then we can bring in the rest of the elements of the mix and hear how it's working. Guys, I hope that this video has helped you. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions about how to get the low end just right in your mix, go ahead and leave a comment. I know that this trick has really helped me and I was really glad that I found it. It just makes it consistent and easy and a way that we can take our mixes from our home studio, which is not the perfect environment to mix, and take it out into the real world. If you found this helpful, go ahead and give this video a like, guys, and share it with a music friend who's wanting to learn how to record their own music. I want to help as many people as I can. I would greatly appreciate it. My name is Jeff, guys. Until next time, see ya.